What up, podcasters? I'm your host, Kristin Chadwick, here on Holistic Podcasting today. Today, we're going to chat about a little something. We are going to be talking about when you have taken loads and loads and loads of time, you've taken social media strategy to a whole nother level, or maybe you have put so much time and energy, blood, sweat, and tears into creating a brand new program or a program. Maybe it's a course, maybe it's a webinar. I don't know, whatever it is that you have poured your heart and soul into and it quote unquote fails. Yep, that's what we're talking about today. Buckle up, my friends. Here we go. If you are a female Christian entrepreneur or life coach, you need a podcast. And if you have a podcast, you need a podcast coach. Finding a supportive and empowering community is key to podcaster success. Through my holistic approach as a trained life coach and my experience in the podcast industry since 2016, I want to encourage you weekly through answering your podcasting questions. I'm cheering for you and your voice matters. Okay, you guys, the last few weeks you have seen me promoting the podcast boot camp for August. Don't stop. Listen all the way through. This is going to be about what we're talking about when your program launch fails. I have committed time, energy, social media promotion, creating copy, conversations, helping to get this podcast boot camp next round off on August 3rd. Now, by the time you hear this, it'll be past August 3rd, but I have some updated news for you about the podcast boot camp, so stay tuned for the announcement. The overall theme of our show today really is, like, if you can just picture the song Hold On Loosely, I totally would put it in here if I could. The hold on loosely, you better. Anyway, that is the theme of today. And I want to share with you and encourage you, if you don't hear anything else, it is okay to pivot and to adjust. Now, like I said, I have in this podcast boot camp launch, I've been promoting it for about a month. I'm very strategic on how I do that. I actually plan my episodes to align with big course launches or program launches, and I advise my podcast management and podcast members to do the same. And so I've been doing this on my own as well as I've been preparing for the podcast boot camps. And oh, goodness me. My eyes and my ears and my experience and my spirit was sensing that something was off. And it was off on how to best serve you, which you are the reason why I'm here, my dear listener, who is walking their dog right now or in their car or doing chores. Yes, you are the reason why I'm here. You are my ideal potential customer if we are not already working together. I want to be your ideal coach that comes alongside you. And so when I was promoting the podcast boot camp for August 3rd, I didn't take into consideration that August 3rd may not be the best time for my ideal listeners. And that is for you. Most of the people that I work with, they are moms, they are women in the throes of either having toddlers at home right now, there's no preschool, there's not a schedule right now, all the way up to college age kids. And kids are home, there's going back to school for college kids, there's getting ready for that process, high school, junior high, homeschool, all of those things. I did not consider that August 3rd would be not the most ideal time for you to start a brand new program, especially something that you are going to have to put some energy and effort into. And I picked a date that I thought would be great, but I was wrong. And here's why I'm telling you all of this. Because as an entrepreneur, as somebody who runs a small business, who is running an online business, we are constantly learning and growing. And we need to constantly evaluate how we can best serve our clients, our listeners, and what works best for our own values as well. I know without a doubt, and I have complete confidence in my product of the podcast bootcamp. It is a fantastic, and it is totally stacked, lined up, beautifully put together. I've seen results. I know that this group coaching 8-week process helps anyone launch a podcast. I do not doubt my product, but my timing was off, and it's okay to adjust. I could go into a mindset spiral of, oh man, no one's buying my boot camp. Woe is me. It's all me. It's because I didn't sell it well enough. However, I am really choosing to lean into this feedback and not make it about me. Because you know what? It's not. Like I said, I know my product is amazing. I know my podcast boot camps produce results. I know my podcast boot camp takes people from being paralyzed and not knowing where to go to being absolutely set up well to have a successful podcast. I know my product is amazing. I know it's going to bring results. And I know by evaluating that it was just about timing. And I'm sharing all this with you. I'm being vulnerable with you. I'm eating my humble pie today because I want you to look at your business. I don't think I'm alone in this. I think there have been many people who are listening who have tried to launch a program, maybe tried to launch a coaching business, tried to launch a new course, a program, and it totally bombed. No one signed up. Or maybe you had 1 or 2 sign up and you were hoping for 50 clients or 50 spots to be filled. We've all been there. And first, I want you to just take a deep breath. And honestly, what is the feedback? Trust this process. You get the opportunity to learn and grow. And there are going to be internal reasons, and there's going to be some external reasons sometimes where we get to learn and we get to grow. So here's a couple of questions I want you to ask yourself. If this is you, if you have tried to launch a program and it was an epic fail, or it was sort of a fail, or it didn't live up to your potential of what you were expecting, I want you to ask yourself some of these questions. First, ask yourself, is there something in my mindset that needs adjusting? Mindset can absolutely play a role in people's confidence in investing in your program. If you are half-hearted, people can sense that. If you are selling out of a lack of mentality, or not a lack of mentality, my brain just went, Wah. If you're selling out of a lack mentality, meaning it is desperate, people can smell that and sense that from a mile away. People are intuitive. So if you find yourself struggling with your mindset, meaning thoughts like, I don't know if this is actually going to work, or I really hope someone shows up. Those are 2 areas of your mindset that you need to get some coaching on. Don't let that just sit there. Tap into these coaches that are all around that will help you break through those mindset coaches. And if you need recommendations, girl, I got you. I know so many coaches and so many phenomenal coaches that I would love to send that your way. So again, having some feedback on mindset. And sometimes we may not even know. Sometimes when we enter into a sales call and we get scared, or we are in this place of a lack of confidence of what we bring to the table, the future client can have a little bit of a, oh, I don't know. I can sense her lack of confidence. And so it's really important that we start to unpack that. It could be, oh gosh, I bet this price is going to be way out of their price range. What if they don't have the energy to do this? What if my husband doesn't support me? And you're carrying all of those things, girl, that's not yours to carry. If people are supposed to be in your program, they will come and find you. So to come into it with confidence and boldness of you have something that they need is going to be really important. So another question to ask yourself, are you being clear about what your future client will be getting from your program or your course or coaching? Clarity is huge. I've been taking some clients through something that I've learned through another mastermind that I've done, which is the top 20 problems that you've learned or that you solve, the top 20 problems that you solve. And why you go about doing that is because you want to be clear about what you're doing. You cannot save the world, the whole world. You have people that God is bringing into your life that is called to come to you because you solve a specific problem. And in going through that exercise of the top 20 problems that you solve, it's going to help you get clearer and clearer about your strengths, where God has gifted you to have the grace to walk people through certain scenarios. Maybe it's motherhood, maybe it's health, maybe it's mindset, any of those. Maybe it's business. And when you can get real clear on who you are serving, you can then flip the script and now use that as what are those pain points that they're walking through that I can help them go from A to B. We can go from pain to pleasure. You have to show that you're bringing those results too. So even if it's your very first time of offering a course or a program, this is why working one-on-one with clients first is going to be valuable, because you need the proof in the pudding, right? You need traction, you need momentum, you need results. So when I first started my podcast boot camp, which my first one I launched January 2023, I had 7 years of helping podcasters launch their podcasts underneath my belt. That's a long time. I didn't have any experience doing it as a group. And I had to lower my price point starting off because it was my first time leading a group. But I had lots of experience launching podcasters individually under my belt. That right there, showing the proof of, hey, I have launched top podcasters into the world of podcasting, is proof. I may not have had experience as a group leader doing this, but I did have proof that I can help people go from not being on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to now we're top 20 in Apple and Spotify and on their podcasts. So if you are a coach or a mentor leading a program for the first time, I want you to think about who are the people that you've already helped. It could be friends. It could be just doing it for free. How did you help them get the results they wanted? Remember, going through those top 20 problems that you solved, those pain points. How did you help them get to that place? Maybe you're a health coach and you've designed a brand new course on detoxing. So who have you already helped in this world? Maybe it's just you. You went through it. What were your results? Maybe you ask a friend to do it for free. Hey, can you go through this program? And in exchange, can you give me a testimony about it? I've done that for my podcast bootcamp, growth bootcamp, and asked for testimonials in exchange. I had a group of women that went through the process, and through it, they gave me their feedback of what they needed more, and they gave me testimonials. It was well worth my time because I got training and I got real-time feedback. So don't be too prideful and count that as not an option. But if you've not had any group training yet, then find some of your clients and see what their results were. Or if you're starting from scratch, don't be afraid to go for it for free. Ask for some beta launchers. Ask for a couple of clients that you can coach for free as you get started in this process. Another question that you can ask, are you paying attention to your clients' rhythms of life? Now, this kind of goes back to where I'm at right now. I know my mindset is actually pretty on point, unless, hey, coach, have you seen anything in me lately? Lord knows I'm always a work in progress. I know I did a great job with promotion. I can always improve there. But here's the question that has allowed me to take some grace here. Am I paying attention to my clients or my listeners' rhythms of life? Externally, on the outside, what is going on in your listeners, in your clients' world right now? Every season and every year is going to bring a different flavor. And when I first started podcast production and management, the needs and rhythms of my clients were so different than they are now. For one, I could only take on one client. That's crazy. Now we're up to like 15. That's bonkers that I work with, and continuing to grow. Now, even in the past 3 years, it's different. We went from clients being not experienced with the online world, right? 2000, y'all, 2020. 2020 was the turning point of people being experienced in the online space, right? For example, the first podcast that I worked with, we used Skype to do our recordings from across the United States. Skype. Remember Skype? Is that even a thing anymore? I don't know. It's like the OG of recording podcasts back in the day, of making it happen without a studio and flying people in. But because of the pandemic, the quarantine world demanded that we all learn how to navigate the online space and become intimately connected and familiar with things like Zoom. So now, post-pandemic, I'm noticing people are in this rhythm of being out and about this summer. Have you noticed that? There are so many people taking vacations and multiple vacations. So I know that my people, my coaches, my moms that are doing podcasts, they're going on vacation. They're enjoying not working as much. And that's okay. They are shifting. And so to match the rhythms of their life, I'm adjusting my own programs to their rhythms. Another example could be a podcast about online business coaching. It's very similar to what I'm doing right now. Your ideal client is not focused on their business as much, but take a deep breath and don't put any energy into what is not about you. Their energy is not focused solely on their business and having the same capacity that they could during the summer or during the school year, and that's okay. So just pause, ask Holy Spirit, when's the best time to open up this program, open up this course? How do I serve them well? When will they have space? When will they have the motivation? When will this be front of mind for them? When will they have the courage to step into new things? When will they have space to really focus in on their health? All those questions, those are great questions. And I can tell you as a mom, I know I get in learning and growing mode when it hits September. I'm wanting those sharpened pencils, those brand new binders, those planners. Actually, I'm not ever going to change my planner from the Soul Planner. #Soul Planner. Shout out to you, Sarah. Anyway, so just know like September naturally is this turning of like, okay, now I'm ready to focus on my business. I'm ready to take the steps to improve my marriage. I'm ready to take the steps it takes to focus on my health. Okay, so another example, I just want to do one more example, is if you're a teacher or maybe you have a teaching podcast for teachers. Here's where you would shift just a little bit from, say, somebody who has an online business or coaching, something like that. If you have a teaching podcast for teachers, they go back to school August. So now would be the time to pour into them. Get those podcast episodes that are promoting this new course of how you can follow along with them pre-students coming into their classroom. And you can offer that group program. You can offer that webinar. You can offer that planning session. You can offer that prayer board for your school year now versus in the middle of October when you're like, I can't breathe. And your teachers are like, this is like go time. So do you see how we are matching our clients' rhythm of life? And that actually is going to be in alignment with how you can operate and serve them well. So if this is you today and you've tried to launch a coaching program or a course and you got crickets, I don't want you to stress. Just adjust, pivot, evaluate those internal and external factors. Is it your mindset? Is it how you're showing up online? Is it your marketing? Is it the rhythms of your people? And I've been in this world of podcasting for 7 years and I'm constantly shifting. And even as let's go even further in. As a business owner, I've been in this space for 3 years. And this is even more so true. The Lord will direct your path. And it is up to us to say, no, I'm stuck on this. This was my goal and I'm not hitting it. How can I make this happen? That's where we go into striving. That's where we go into exhaustion. That's when we overdo it. And not only do we hurt ourselves, we hurt the people that are around us because we are losing energy like a broken vessel and we are going against the current, right? So as the Lord leads you on your path, adjust. And it's okay. There is grace in that. We are all learning. We're all growing. And hopefully, this is for me, I'm knocking down some of my pride walls by sharing it with you. And I am a stickler for goals, you guys. I love writing down my goals. I love achieving my goals. I love everything about that. And sometimes what's on paper is not exactly in alignment with who we're called to serve. And that's okay. We just get to adjust. So with that said, I want to announce, I told you there was an announcement at the end of this podcast, that the podcast boot camp is now shifting to September 7th. So right after Labor Day, we will start our round of podcast boot camp. If you're like, what the heck is the podcast boot camp? You guys, it is amazing. It is an 8-week program where you will have myself and you will have another Kingdom Life coach, Megan Nielsen, be by your side as we take your idea of a podcast and actually create your podcast and put out episode 1 by November. It is a fantastic program. We walk through all sorts of things, everything from your equipment, how to set up your equipment, to editing your podcast, to creating your podcast art tile. How do you launch a podcast successfully? All of those things are going to be covered in 8 weeks, and you can save your spot today for $99. And there's only 15 spots open. And we already have a couple filled. So make sure that you are signing up for that, deposit that $99 to save your spot. And I cannot wait to walk you through this process starting in August. Okay. Thanks, guys, and have a great day. Share this podcast with somebody that you know needs to hear this. Maybe they just finished a program launch that was a fail, and quote unquote fail, and help them walk through this process of discerning what can we become aware of, where can we learn to grow, and be humble. You guys, we're all in this together. We are all entrepreneurs trying to do the best we can and to serve our clients well and make an impact, right? Be bright lights in this world. Take care. Thank you for listening, you guys. If you are wanting to start your podcast, join our next boot camp. Details in the show notes below. If you already have a podcast, and you want to grow, you want to monetize, you want to join our amazing community of podcasters, then join our podcast membership, where you're going to find uplifting community, monthly group coaching with me and others, and podcast education. Details are also below in the show notes. Can't wait to see you there.